Here's part 2 of my rapid-fire Hunger Games opinions. The Quarter Quell was built for Finnick, and this theory rides on the idea that Finnick was the capital's darling and that Snow was not aware that he was a potential rebel. My view of the situation is that I do not believe that Snow thought Finnick was a rebel. I thought Snow believed that Finnick was an incredibly scared boy. We don't know much about Snow and Finnick's relationship, but I've always imagined it that Snow saw Finnick as someone who, yes, had gathered a lot of his secrets, but was also way too scared of hurting his own family to release them. And so while, yes, in Snow's mind, the gun was loaded and was there, he never saw Finnick as ever actually pulling the trigger. And so while I do think there is potential that Snow might have wanted Finnick to win, I also don't think that's the case. Because yes, Finnick was known to be a very good swimmer, as would anyone from District 4 be, but the majority of the other tributes weren't. And in my opinion, the game makers were favouring the weaknesses of the majority of the tributes and the strengths of the others. And it's only because the other tributes' weaknesses were highlighted that Finnick's strengths were highlighted. But again, I'm not totally against this theory. I do think it has a lot of grounding. District 11 was a failed career district. And yes, I do believe that it has a lot of grounding to it. We will never know for certain unless Suzanne Collins writes some more, but I do believe there's a lot of potential there for this theory to actually be true. Cinna bought Katniss to spare her from the victor's punishment. I do not think this is true. I think that Katniss was spared from the victor's punishment, at least temporarily, because of her relationship with Peeta. I also believe that Haymitch and Plutarch especially would have had a lot of say in this. Personally, I think this theory overestimates Cinna's influence among the game makers and Snow. I don't think that Snow would have allowed Cinna to do this had Snow actually wanted to sell Katniss for his own gain. Joanna and Finnick had an affair. No. Annie was a career. I think a lot of people consider this a theory or don't want to believe it because they don't understand Annie's actions in the games if she was a career. Whereas I think it makes it so much more interesting and makes her more interesting the character if she was a career. And it makes sense that she would be. She was from a career district that was routinely known for volunteering tributes. And it very well could be the case that she was reaped and no one volunteered in her place. But I don't think we should disregard this theory just because we don't understand her actions. Or because we don't think it fits with her as a character as we know her. Because in the first Hunger Games, even Cato, who embodied the idea of a career, and who never really hesitated to kill anyone in his games, hesitated at the end and didn't kill Peeta immediately when he was with Katniss and Peeta. Because he was having a breakdown and because he had finally snapped and realized that he was no more than just a piece in the games. Cinna was originally District. I think it's confirmed from multiple characters in this series that moving between districts is incredibly rare. Even more so rare is moving from districts to the capital. I think people have a hard time associating characters we like and assume are good with bad things and bad characters. Cinna was capital. That does not make him a bad character. You can have good characters with good intentions on the wrong side of the war, and this is an incredibly clever literary device because it gets you thinking about people's morality. Because similarly, you can also have characters with bad intentions on the right side of the war, like President Coin. So I think calling Cinna District actually negates the power of his character and what he was bringing to the narrative.